this video, we are going to explore multiple choice, multiple answers, and fill in the blanks task with strategies and examples. Are you ready? Let's get started. First, when we talk about this multiple choice, multiple answers, what about the task structure? Here, you will listen to an audio which could be around 40 to 90 seconds and followed by multiple choice options. And remember, this task is about multiple choice, multiple answers, which means more than one option could be correct. And you will get +1 for correct choices, -1 for incorrect ones. Okay? And there are some unique strategies, especially that you need to incorporate for this task. First one is note contrast and limitations. You have to pay attention to words like however, but, on the other hand, because they often carry exam tested details. And you have to avoid extremes. Mostly options with always, never, completely, or usually traps. Don't go for that. And cross verify with meaning. So don't choose an option just because you heard the words. You have to check always whether the meaning matches or not. Okay? And you have to limit your choices. In most cases, 3 to 4 correct answers appear. But sometimes, if you find yourself selecting almost all, you may be overguessing. So it will not be appropriate for all the context. For some context, yes, 3 to 4 options could be correct. But for some, don't overthink and try to end up in selecting more options. Got it? Now it's time for us to practice with example. I'm going to play an audio. You can just listen to it. And while listening, I'm requesting you to take the notes because that will help you to answer the questions appropriately. Got it?
Over the last decade, urban farming has emerged as a potential solution to food insecurity in large cities. Rooftop gardens and vertical farming systems allow communities to grow fresh produce closer to where it's consumed, reducing transportation costs and environmental impact. These systems often use hydroponics or aeroponics, which require less water than traditional farming. However, the scalability of urban farming remains debatable. Setting up vertical farms requires advanced technology, constant energy supply, and significant upfront investment, making it difficult for low-income communities to adopt. Another challenge lies in policy and regulation. Many cities lack clear guidelines for rooftop farming or impose strict zoning restrictions. Without supportive legislation, expansion is limited. On the other hand, urban farms can provide educational opportunities, promote healthier diets, and reconnect citizens with the process of food production. Advocates argue that while urban farming won't replace traditional agriculture, it can complement it by making food systems more resilient and sustainable in the long run.
Okay. Hope you listened to that audio. Now, let me move on to the question. The question is, what are the main ideas expressed in the recording? The first one is urban farming reduces transportation cost and environmental impact. Option B, hydroponics and aeroponics consume more water than traditional farming. Option C, setting up vertical farms involves high cost and energy requirements. Option D, urban farming will completely replace traditional agriculture. Option E, policy and zoning restrictions hinder the expansion of urban farming. Option F, urban farming encourages healthier diets and community engagement. Now it's your turn. You just need to think. I hope you all have taken the notes while listening to the audio. Now come up with the correct option. Now I'll also tell what is the right option in the next slide. The correct options are, we have 4 options here, yes, based on the context, remember. Option A, option C, option E, and option F. So the wrong options are option B and D. I'll tell you why all these 4 options are correct. Option A, if you see option A, it talks about reducing transportation cost and environmental impact, which match exactly with the audio. Remember, as I told you, here note taking helps catch benefits listed early in the talk. And option C, This is about advanced technology, constant energy, and significant investment, whatever mentioned in the audio, which equals to high cost. So you have to listen for contrast and limitations. And remember, the word however introduced this challenge. Okay? And option E, the speaker highlighted policy and zoning restrictions and barriers. So here you're applying the cross verifying with meaning strategy, which avoids misinterpretation of technical words. Okay? And option F, in the audio, they mentioned about healthier diets and educational opportunities. Remember, so you should not ignore secondary benefits because sometimes they often form correct answers. I'll tell you why option B and D are incorrect. If you see option B, the audio said less water, but this option says more water. You heard the same word hydrophonics and aerophonics in the audio too, but it's not sufficient to match the meaning, correct? And if you see option D, the audio explicitly said it won't replace traditional agriculture. And remember, here you have to use the strategy of avoid extreme options completely. That's the clue here. Okay, now let's move on to the second task, which is fill in the blanks. So for fill in the blanks task, the structure is you will be listening to an audio transcript with missing words, and the audio would be around 30 to 60 seconds. And you need to type the missing words in the blanks exactly as heard. Scoring is like 1 point per correct word, and remember the spelling should be correct. And there are some of the unique strategies for this task too. The first one is skim before listening. So quickly look at the transcript. Then you have to predict grammar and word type like noun or a verb or adjective, what it could be. You have to predict it. And listen for context groups. Words come in meaningful chunks, not randomly. So you can listen for the context and note first letters or first sounds. This will help you to recall exact words when filling the blanks. So remember this. And spelling accuracy, even if you understood correctly, if you misspell the word, then you will not get any score. Remember that. I'm just going to play an audio for you. Listen to it carefully.
In recent years, remote learning has transformed the way education is delivered. With the rise of digital platforms, students can now access lectures and resources from anywhere in the world. This flexibility allows learners to manage their own schedules, making education more inclusive for working professionals and those in remote areas. However, remote learning is not without challenges. One major issue is the lack of face-to-face interaction, which can reduce motivation and engagement. Technical problems, such as unstable internet connections, also create barriers for students. Furthermore, some learners struggle with self-discipline, finding it hard to stay focused without the structure of a physical classroom. Despite these challenges, many educators believe that blending traditional and online methods could provide the most effective approach to learning in the future.
Okay, I can relate to this topic very well. Now, let's see the transcript with blanks. In recent years, remote learning has dashed the way education is delivered. So, what word should come here? So, this script you will be getting when you're listening to the audio. So, for the first one, the word transformed should come because that word fits grammatically and contextually. Remember, skimming before listening helps to expect a big verb here. Okay. And then the next one, with the rise of digital platforms, students can now access lectures and dash from anywhere in the world. So for here, the answer is resources from anywhere. So it comes after lectures and so on. So in the audio, so a plural noun makes sense. Got it? So here you are using the strategy of predicting grammar before listening. And for the blank 3, this dash allows learners to manage their own schedules, making education more inclusive for working professionals and those in remote areas. So this flexibility, because the passage describes benefit of managing schedules. So you have to listen for context groups. This flexibility allows learners. It was like one chunk. Easy, isn't it? And blank 4, however, remote learning is not without challenges introduced after however, signaling the contrast, isn't it? So you have to focus on signpost words like however or but when you are listening to the audio. One major issue is the lack of face to face interaction, which can reduce motivation and engagement. So most of the times it is paired with motivation, right? So collocations in PTE core missing words often come in natural pairs. Remember the collocation. So the correct answers are transform, resources, flexibility, challenges, and engagement. Easy and simple, isn't it? So that's all for today's video. Kindly like, share, and subscribe for more PTA code tips. See you in the next video. Bye bye.